Okay, so there was a part one, there was a part two, and this is a part three, which I'm gonna name Books That I've Read During the Holidays. So I started with an audiobook by Neil DeGrasse Tyson called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. I talked about it briefly in one of my vlogs, but it basically covers the entire universe: planets, stars, comets, the solar system, pulsars, neutron stars, galaxies, black hole, dark matter, dark energy, expansion of the universe, microwave background, the history of the universe, the possible future of the universe, aliens. Everything is covered in a great manner by Neil deGrasse Tyson. So what more do you want? Then I found a book in a library that I bought for Christmas for my dad called Dark Archives by Megan Rosenblum. It's an amazing book. It's just an amazing book. It's about books that have been bound in human skin. What a topic. It's an amazing I'm so curious in general in life, and this book is just about a topic that is so specific that you wouldn't imagine, that you wouldn't know about. I read about it. Amazing book. I think it's going to be in my top 5, so I'm not going to talk too much about it in this video. It's an amazing book, and it's very recent. It got published in 2020, so if you can read it, do read it. Then I listened to an audiobook about the wonderful story of Henry Sugar by Roald Dahl. I love Roald Dahl, and his stories are amazing. I don't think that's a book though. I don't count it in my 30 books that I've read this year because it's 72 pages. It's more of a novella, and it's more of a story that is in a collection of stories. I mean, I think it's meant to be in a collection of stories, but I just listened to an audiobook on YouTube on its own, and it's a cool story, typical Roald Dahl, where it's like, oh, it could actually happen. It's about someone seeing with his eyes closed. The last book that I read in 2020 was Ham on Rye by Charles Bukowski. Again, Charles Bukowski is my favorite writer, and he doesn't disappoint. He talks about his childhood in California, Los Angeles, I think, and it's very brutal. There's a lot of violence in Bukowski in general, but about his life, there's just childhood. There's a lot of violence. He goes into so many fights against anyone he meets. He doesn't really care about the world. It's weird how mature he is in his I'm gonna mess this word up. Nihilism. There we go. But it's a very interesting book. So those are the books that I've read in 2020. There's a bonus book that I just finished that I read at the beginning of 2021. It's called Le Jardin des Piqûres by Irvin Yalom. That's the French name. The English name will be on the cover that I put on my left, I think. On my right here, on my left in the video. I'm smart. It's about death. It's about the fear of death in everyone's mind, and how Irvin Yalom, a psychiatrist. I don't know if he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I never know the difference. Anyways, he knows a lot about. He has a lot of patience, and he talks about his patient's experiences with the fear of death, and it's a death positive book about how to better live your life, not care about death so much, not fear death, because through philosophical ideas and practical application, in the end, yeah, it's okay, and it doesn't really matter. Most of the books that I've read in 2020 have been during holidays and quarantine in the summer, because when I have classes, I just don't have the time. So I read during the holidays. Like 4 books in 2 weeks. I never do that when I have like classes. I read like 1 book in a whole month in September. So yeah, so if you have the time, read a lot of books and read some classics like I did, or books that you literally wouldn't even pick up like just random books like I did too. Some of them were bad, some of them were interesting, and a couple of them were surprisingly good and changed my perception of the world a bit, just a bit, but it's enough. And that's what makes books amazing. So I hope you read more if you like reading. If you don't like reading, audiobooks maybe? I am not sponsored by Audible. No, I don't. I just go on YouTube for audiobooks because I don't have the money. This was a long series of videos, so I hope you liked them. I hope this gives you ideas of books to read, or the envy to read, because whenever I went into bookstores to buy presents for my family, and I wanted to read so badly. There were so many good books that I wanted to read. This is the end of the video. Subscribe if you like those kinds of videos, or if you want to, if you want to subscribe to the channel, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you, and I'll see you very, very soon.